What is your favorite position? I thought about doing this video outside up on the rooftop because I was like, oh, I do like a cute setting, but then I was like, what if it's windy? I got one of those like puff balls for my camera, but I lost it. I lost it the first time I ever put it on my camera. Just fell off, don't know where it is. It's like 84 degrees. Here I've got the AC, I can be in my sweatpants. It just felt like a better vibe. For this week's video, I needed to do something kind of chill, nothing crazy, because my sister is flying into town tomorrow. Today is Sunday. I needed to be able to take a video, edit it all day, and like have it ready for Wednesday because I'm gonna be with my sister. So here we are. I figured a lot of you probably found me from YouTube, which when I started YouTube, I thought all of my audience would come from Instagram, and that has not happened. I figured that if you haven't like been around, you really don't know me that well from my videos, because a lot of my videos have been workout related or just like me doing random shit. I thought today I would just sit down, do a chill little video, and answer some of y'all's questions. I posted an Instagram story asking you guys to ask me any questions as long as it's not boring. I wanted them to really think outside of the box here. I like saw a few of them, but I really haven't looked through them yet. So let's see how you guys did and let's answer some questions. At what age did you first go to the gym? I first went to the gym when I was 16 years old. I'm 23, I'm gonna be 24 this year. Don't tell anybody. To this day, I still just pat myself on the back for starting so young, because when I was 16 years old, this is like 2016, the fitness industry was nothing like it is now. This was what, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. It was not even anywhere near booming. Like now it's so popular. There was like a couple girls, like Whitney Simmons. I used to watch Whitney Simmons YouTube videos when she was still at a desk job, before she was ever with Gymshark. That's when I got into fitness. I just thank myself for that. By the time the fitness industry got big, and by the time I started Instagram, I was already very educated on fitness. I was in full swing. I had been doing it for years before I even started on social media, so I felt really confident being able to come on here and like give my advice, if that makes sense. I got my license. I got a gym membership. We only had 2 little gyms in my hometown. We didn't even have a Planet Fitness yet. It was like an Anytime Fitness. I got a membership there, and there was like 1 Smith machine, a few dumbbells. Like it was a very, very small, limited gym. I was doing so much cardio, taking classes, but since the age of 16, when I first walked into a gym, I was obsessed with it. I became obsessed with weightlifting immediately when I started it. I don't know why. Very weird, because I never played sports growing up at all. I was a dancer my whole life, and I've pretty much been consistent ever since I was 16, other than like my freshman year of college. I kind of fell out of it for a while because I was like in college. I don't know. Are you natural? I don't know if they're asking like, am I natty if I take steroids? If so, no, I don't take steroids. If I was taking steroids, I would hope I would be a lot bigger than what I am. How many boyfriends have you had? I guess it depends like what you count. I had my first like real relationship when I was 15 years old. It was like a year and a half. And then I had another one my second half of high school. It was like a year and a half. I guess they count. Those are like, that's like a fever dream, okay? And then I had 2 serious boyfriends in college. So I guess if you want to technically put it, I guess 4, but only 2 that I would consider were like adult relationships, if that makes sense. How's the Miami life treating you? Thinking about moving there after college. I go back and forth on how I feel about Miami all the time. I've only been here for, it'll be 3 months in a couple weeks. So like 2.5 months I've been here. As awesome as it is, it's so much better than New York. Obviously the weather is like great out here. There's so much snow back in New York, and there's so much to do out here. I'm living in like a gorgeous apartment. It's been really nice being out here, but there's also a lot of things I don't like about being in Miami. I've talked about that like kind of a bit, like the traffic. Obviously I complain about the traffic all the time, and I knew that. I'm not dumb. I knew when I moved here there was hella traffic. I talked about it before I moved here. I was like, I'm not looking forward to that. Yeah, it's just as bad as I imagined. Also, just being so much in the city isn't for me, and I knew it wasn't for me also when I moved here. Miami was kind of just my way to get down to Florida as soon as possible from New York. It's all on my YouTube. Like you can watch my whole journey from being in New York to finding an apartment to visiting Miami to moving here. It's all on my channel. It's been a really fun journey, and I'm really happy that I came here. I definitely don't regret moving to Miami at all. Going forward, I'm definitely going to find somewhere a little more calm. I want to walk outside and it'd be like pretty and like pretty views, not just like a guy peeing on the street, trash on the ground. And that's just what you get living downtown. It's also just super super superficial here. It just like kills the vibe. I feel like a lot of the people here are like made in a lab. I don't know. What states do you want to visit? Definitely California. It's kind of crazy that I haven't been to California yet, but I'm hopefully going to be going there in January. So I will keep y'all updated with that. I've been to like the good states. Hawaii, I would love to go to. I definitely want to go to Hawaii. So someone wanted a tattoo tour and someone else asked me what my favorite tattoo was. I get this question actually all the time. So I will walk you through what tattoos I have, like 17, I think. The snake here, I got that impulsively when I got this one. Both of them were impulsive. I was just like, I just want hand tattoos. And I just went in that day and got these. I also have Grace right here. Grace is my middle name and I also just like it as a word. Then I have this one. This was my first tattoo that I've ever gotten in my life. Me and my mom have matching ones. Hers is on her back though, but it says, though she be little, she is fierce. I'm not crazy about the placement of it. I do definitely wish I didn't get it here. Then I've got the famous 222 tattoo and these like, what do you want to call those? And then when I was in college, I have wings on the back of my neck. Let's see if I can show you. I got like wings on the back of my neck. Then here I have a tattoo. This one says there is time. I got 777 right there. I have these two butterflies. Okay, obviously that's my name. It says Bella May. That means beautiful soul in French. And this one I just got touched up the other day. Most painful tattoo I've ever gotten in my life. Out of all of my tattoos, none of them bothered me. This one I would never ever recommend someone get one right here. And then this one I'm seriously obsessed with. And then I have my 23. A lot of people ask me about my 23 one, what that means. I'm 23 right now. 1 month after I turned 23, I got this tattoo. I just knew that my 23rd year, Jordan year, I knew it was gonna be the biggest year of my life. Cause like right when my birthday hit is when I quit my job and started doing this full time. And it's been just a roller coaster ever since then. I knew right away this was gonna be a big year for me and it was. Some people say to me, oh, well, what about when you're 24 and something big happens? And I'm like, there's never going to be another year ever in my lifetime where I can say I quit everything and decided to follow my dreams. Moved out of Western New York for the first time in my life. I'll never be able to say that again. This is one of like my most meaningful tattoos and this is the one that gets misunderstood a lot, I feel. My final one is just my neck tattoo and this says angel. I have to pick a favorite. I can easily tell you what my top 3 are. The 23, the cheetah, angel. I really love like this leaf thing. Like I can't imagine my hand without it. It's gotta be this one. This one is just so fire. He did such a good job on this one. I love this one. I really also love my neck one. People ask me if I'm gonna get a whole sleeve. No, I'm not. If anything, I'm just gonna like add a few more little things. I love the patch sleeve look. Let's see what else we've got here. Have you ever gone skydiving? No. I talk about it all the time. Definitely sometime in 2023, I would love to go skydiving. I would take up the offer anytime. Like I really wanna go. Am I single? Yes. It'll be a year here pretty soon. Love being single. Live by being single. Is Florida the forever place for you? Rate 1 out of 10. So we already talked about Miami. Florida, I love Florida. I don't know if it's like the forever place. There's not many states I think I would choose over Florida. People tell me San Diego is a mix of the mountains of New York and then the weather of Miami. So I do really want to visit San Diego. If I had to rate it 1 out of 10, I would give it an 8. What experiences got you focused on your self-development? Ooh. That's a loaded question because I feel like if you guys have followed me for a while, you know I try and be like as upbeat and positive and like look at the bright side as possible, but I was not always like that. Last year at this time, I was waking up every morning and just wanting to go right to bed. I was so unfulfilled in life and I had no idea where to turn. I was like balls deep in this relationship that I was not happy in and did not want to be in, but I was very much the type of person to be like, well, you know, just keep giving it a chance. Maybe things will change. Maybe things will change. It got to the point where I knew that nothing was going to change, but I don't know if this makes sense, but I didn't feel ready to go through this big transition in my life. At the time, we were working the same job together. We were together every single day. We were going to the same gym. I just felt like if there was any chance of like making it work, I wanted to like see. There's going to be a lot of like fallout after we broke up. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do. If I wasn't happy, I definitely should have left right away. I was doing Instagram at the time, but not full time. I was bartending weddings on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, most weekends, and then Monday through Thursday, I wasn't working. I was just going to the gym and stuff. I was making enough just on the weekends where I was like, I don't need another job. I'm gonna really focus on social media during those other days. I also got a question that said how I got into social media, so this is answering that question as well. It all like goes together. So that's what I was doing, and come February, my parents were spending the month of February in Florida. They spend it in Tampa because my dad is a race car driver and he goes to, you know, the Daytona races every year. So last year they said they were gonna spend like 3 weeks in Florida. My parents knew I was not happy. I was living in Rye Rochester, New York. Super dangerous. I think Rochester is like one of the most dangerous cities actually in the country. And I was living there by myself. Yeah, I hated it. My parents knew that. So my mom was like, you know, your birthday's in February. Let us fly you down to Florida for just like a few days for your birthday. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's perfect. Like, I'll definitely do that. And they're like, if you want, you can bring your boyfriend. That's when I was like, okay, I need to kind of figure out what I'm doing here, because I'm not gonna bring a guy on a trip with me that like I think I need to break up with. So I decided right then, okay, I need to end things. Sorry, we're done. I also decided, fuck this. I'm gonna just go spend the entire trip in Florida with them. I was like running the bar at this wedding place. I knew I could just be like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for a few weeks, and they'd be like, that's fine. This way I didn't have to work with my ex-boyfriend, at least for a few weeks after the breakup. So I was like, I'll be in Florida. Like, this will be perfect for social media. I'll be able to just really focus on getting content, and Florida is a great place for that. A few days later, I met my parents down in Tampa, and for 3 weeks we stayed out here, and it was life-changing. This trip to Florida I really needed, because after a year of being in a relationship, I got to just like go away from everything, like leave my job, leave my friends, leave that relationship, and just have 3 weeks of relaxation, reminding myself why I love to do social media, figuring out where I wanted to go with it. Obviously I was with my parents, but they were doing their thing. I had a lot of alone time over those 3 weeks. I was reading a lot of books while I was in Tampa, and when I was in Tampa is also when I hit 10K, and that was a really big moment for me, because I was like, hitting 10K was proving to myself, you can do this. You're not wasting your time here. You will be able to like build a business out of this, is how I was looking at it. I was getting to spend a lot of time on myself and just do a lot of self-reflection. I sat down with my mom one night and I was just talking to her about social media and whatnot. My mom is extremely supportive with everything I do. I kind of, you know, played with the idea of like, what do you think of selling exclusive content, you know, getting into those platforms, and she was like, okay, do whatever the fuck you want. If there's something you want to do that's going to make your life better and isn't harming anyone else, fucking do it. The idea of 60 years going by and being on my deathbed and looking back at my life and being so unfulfilled with it because I chose to live at other people's standards instead of my own, that's way scarier to me than just saying, F it, I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna drop an OnlyFans. I'm gonna quit my job and move. Like, that's when my life started to change. When I started to realize, why am I living to make other people happy? This is my experience here on earth. This is my lifetime I'm getting. Why am I doing what other people want me to do? Why am I not doing what I want to do? As long as it's not hurting other people, why wouldn't you? That's when I started to kind of change my mindset. Definitely this trip to Florida. By the time I got back to New York at the end of the month, I was pretty set on, hey, I don't want to go back to this job. I really don't. I was gonna have to go back to this job that I got my ex-boyfriend a job at, stupidly. I was getting really like taken advantage of at this job, I felt, and I really just didn't want to go back. This was before I was doing, you know, any type of exclusive content and whatnot. So I had really no other forms of income but this bartending job and then the occasional brand deal. I didn't have any solid form of income other than this bartending job. But one night, it was the middle of the night, this was just a couple days after I got back from Florida, and I was like, why am I gonna force myself to be put in a position that I'm gonna feel uncomfortable in? Like, I knew going back to that job, I was going to be unhappy, and I was like, find another job if it comes down to that, but don't make yourself go back to a job that you're dreading going back to. So I texted my boss and I told them, peace, I'm not coming back. And that's how I quit my job. The next day I was kind of like, whoa, that was kind of a big step. Like, you don't even have a backup. You don't have another form of income. And I was living by myself in an apartment at the time. So it's like, I have rent and bills to pay. I mean, I was paying for everything on my own. You know, I've been saving since I was 14 years old. I have savings, but I still was like, I need income. During these few days, I was having meetings with people over at OnlyFans, and I was like talking with them. They were kind of telling me, you know, you should really try and get into it, whatnot. After talking to my mom and after talking to them, I was like, fuck it, let me give it a shot. So I made one. And pretty much, I think like February 28th, March 1st is when I launched it, and I kind of announced on Instagram. Very, very quickly, I realized that I'm not getting another job. Like, I have no reason to. That industry pays overwhelmingly well. It's a very high paying industry. Especially at that time, my cost of living was extremely low. That first month, I was really excited because I was like, I am making money, single and back in New York. I kind of wasn't working as hard in terms of Instagram and TikTok, and I wasn't doing very much because I was like, I'm good, like I'm chilling. I was like so content at the time, which you should never be too content. I was excited. I started partying a lot. And if you were following me on Instagram, you didn't really see this side, obviously. You see me the next morning at the gym, but you didn't see me the night before going out all night. And this went on for a few months. I was driving to my friend's college every weekend, an hour away. We would go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sometimes even Sunday, sometimes even Wednesday. We were going out. I was making money without even having to touch my phone. I was like, why not party? Why not have a good time? I just got out of a relationship. I was having a good time. Then rolls around a trip that I took to New Orleans. I'm not even gonna go into details on the trip. I never could go into details. One, it would take me days. Two, it's not my business to tell. But basically, I went on this trip with a few of my friends. It just did not go well. Night 1, night 2, night 3, night 4, it was a disaster. Just witnessed like a lot of fucked up things. I went through a lot of fucked up things. I came back from that 4-day trip a brand new person. Left for the trip, bubbly, happy. I came back from that trip a zombie. I was instantly rock bottom depressed. If you're on my Instagram at this time, I did talk a little bit about this, is I started having a lot of trouble eating to the point where within 2 weeks of coming home from this trip, I lost 18 pounds within 2 weeks. I couldn't eat. I tried to eat something, I would throw it up. I was waking up so malnourished, so weak that I could barely get myself out of bed to even go to the kitchen and try and get something down. So I started eating a lot of cereal and I was having Chipotle every single day. That was the one meal I could get down a day. I could only eat like 40% of it and then I would save the rest for the next night. It became a very big problem, and in the midst of all of this, I was still going out every weekend, which was making it way worse. But I was still continuing in the same thing. On the outside, on the screen, on Instagram, you're seeing me in the gym. It's like I'm kind of just lost some weight, but everyone's like, you look amazing. And me, I'm like, I can't even get out of bed in the morning. I was embarrassed to go to my home gym because I had gone there for a year. You see the same people every day. They know what you look like. I'm in like little shorts and a sports bra. You can notice when I lose 15 pounds in 2 weeks. So I didn't want to go to the gym anymore because I was like, I'm embarrassed. I don't want people to see me like this. And then came the one night that changed everything. It was a Wednesday night. My friends asked me if I wanted to go out and I said, yeah. I go over there, we're drinking. We hadn't even gone to the bar yet. And I was drinking so much to the point where by the time we left for the bar, I had no idea what was going on. We get home and I'm like on the ground being an idiot. And I kind of like roll over and I slam my head on the TV stand to the point where the next day I had a huge bump on my head. I went to wash my face. It hurt so bad. And I'm like, what happened? I texted my friend and she's like, yeah, I have it on video. You hit your head really hard on the TV stand. In my state, I text my like toxic boy, whatever. He lived in an apartment complex right down the road, like right a minute away or so. I thought, okay, you like don't even really have to go on the road to like get there. I'm gonna drive over there. This was like hours had gone by, but I still, no. I get in my car, I drive, keep in mind, like I said, it's a very short drive, but no excuses. I've never done this before in my life. I never will do it again. I genuinely feel like I wasn't like in control in this moment. I don't remember driving over there. All of my friends had already gone to bed also, so no one even knew I left. But next thing you know, I'm there, we fight, whatever, end up leaving. And I get outside. I'm more like chill now. I kind of know what's going on. And I realize I have no idea where my car is. No idea, because I didn't remember driving there. And that's why I think I had a concussion. I walked around for an hour in the middle of the night sobbing. This is a huge apartment complex. It's a college town. Huge apartment complex. So many different areas to park in. I was just wandering around like a lost puppy. I had zero even idea of where I parked my car because I didn't remember parking it. I don't remember walking into the building. I don't remember going up the elevator to the apartment. I don't remember any of this once I get outside. At this point, after like a half hour of looking, I was devastated because I knew you hit rock bottom, Kay. This is rock bottom. I knew that was my moment. I wake my friend up. I don't want you to get out of bed, but I just feel like I should let someone know what's going on. Just in case. Just so someone knows like the situation I'm in. And she's like, look for another 10 minutes. If you don't find it, call me. I'm gonna come get you. And I'm like, okay. Oh, and I can't call the guy because he blocked me. So what an asshole. And since I've done so much walking around, I don't even remember which building was his. I don't even have an idea of where I even started. I'm just lost. I'm probably going in circles. Right when 10 minutes hits and I'm about to text her, I like pull my phone out. I'm just clicking the unlock button, waiting to see if my lights will light up. And sure enough, as soon as I text her, my lights light up and I find my car. You'd think I would get in my car and be like, woo, I'm I'm so happy. No, that wasn't the case. I knew like that was my breaking point. I couldn't believe that I drove there. Now it's like 5 a.m. Like the sun's starting to come up. I couldn't believe, like I genuinely felt like I had no idea what had happened, but it wasn't good. At this point, I knew things need to change. That was my turning point. I felt what it was like to be at rock bottom, and I never want to feel like that again. I do everything in my power now to be as positive as possible, look at the bright side, make the right decisions, surround myself with the right people. And when you ask me how I got into self-development, I couldn't just give you a simple answer for that. You have to see the things that led up to it, the things that were happening behind the scenes, because it wasn't just, oh, I'm gonna be a happier person now and like be positive. Things had to happen for me to get to that point. It's not an easy thing. It's something you have to work on every single day. Your mind will immediately jump to the negative. That's how our mind is trained to work. So you have to be able to stop that and change your train of thought. I heard something that said there are two wolves inside of you, a good wolf and a bad wolf. And if you ask which wolf is gonna win in a battle, it's gonna be whichever wolf that you feed. If you feed the bad wolf, that's what you're gonna feel. If you feed the negativity, you're gonna get negativity back. Feed positivity, you're gonna get positivity back. I just thought that was such a good metaphor. At that same time when this happened, that's when I kind of stopped partying. I spent the summer all by myself in Buffalo, New York. I would see my friends here and there. Now, to talk about the actual motivation for me becoming a fitness influencer, my motivation to start, like in the very beginning, I started very slowly. Like I didn't advertise it on my other accounts for a long time. I was really low key about it. I wasn't posting very often. This February will be 2 years, which is crazy. But like I said, my first 6 months, I wasn't really posting. I think what influenced me was just that so many people were telling me that I should. And I had already started TikTok. So I already had like 50K on TikTok, but I wasn't doing fitness related stuff. I was doing just like comedy stuff, like funny stuff. So I already kind of had a following through that. I had so many people telling me like, you've been doing fitness for 6 years. The fitness industry is getting so big. Why aren't you starting an Instagram? I started in February and then I graduated college a few months later. At that point, I was like, all right, I've got all summer. I'm gonna just keep at it, because I was seeing the improvements I was making and I was like, I can keep getting better. So I was like, I'm gonna take a year off of grad school, focus on social media. And if I don't feel like it's working by the end of the year, I'm going back to school. Obviously, I didn't go back to school. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. That's kind of how I started. And then I went on that Tampa trip, the fitness retreat. That's what really changed the game for me in social media. Because at that point I had like, I don't know, I think like 15K, 14K, I think I had in the Tampa trip. So I was still like a pretty small creator. I still am a small creator, but I wasn't putting that much work into it at the time. I didn't know all the little different things that go into like running businesses, making social media a full-time job, until I went on that Tampa trip. Ever since I got home from that, it's been full speed ahead. The Tampa trip was the first video I ever posted on YouTube. That's what got me into YouTube. Like that was my first video. Now I love YouTube. I'm posting videos weekly, and that's when I started to see the growth. Another question I got before we were talking about like the OnlyFans thing, I got another question that sort of relates. It said, do you live alone in Miami? If so, how were you able to afford it at such a young age? So that kind of goes into what I said. So I still primarily get my income from the exclusive content sites, the occasional brand deal here and there. That's how I've been able to afford it, but Miami is super expensive. Why is it $5 for like Oreos? I think a lot of people also think OnlyFans, like I can just make an account and make so-and-so amount of money. Keep in mind that's not the case. I built my Instagram for a year before I made one. And at that point I had already built an audience. If you don't already have an audience to advertise it to, you're not going to just like be making a crazy amount of money off the bat. I mean, maybe you will. That'd be awesome. What is your opinion in each workout split? Well, there's so many different splits, so I can't like go through all of them. I've done 2 main splits for the last like few years. Used to do Mondays and Thursdays were legs, Tuesdays and Fridays were back and biceps, Wednesdays and either Saturday or Sunday was chest, shoulders, tris. I wanted to start doing legs 3 times a week and separating quads, hamstrings, and glutes. Now what I do is Monday is glutes and hamstrings, Tuesday is back and biceps, Wednesday quads, just fully quad focused, my favorite day. Thursdays is push day, chest, shoulders, triceps, and then Fridays is glutes again. And then Saturday or Sunday, whichever day I go, it depends on the week. I'll either do full body or back and shoulders, because I like back and shoulders. That's what my current workout split is. I love this split, but it is kind of exhausting doing legs 3 days a week. What are the 3 music artists that you have to see in concert for 2023? I don't want to like cause any drama, but I'm really not a concert person. I don't know if it's just I never go with the right people, or I don't go to the right concerts, or what it is, but I just never really have fun at them. But there are a few few artists that I think I would love to go to because I absolutely love them. And that would be Nessa Barrett. Obsessed with Nessa Barrett. Black Bear. I could have seen Black Bear for $10 at the college I went to, but none of my friends would go with me, so I didn't go. I'm obsessed with Black Bear. And I also love Machine Gun Kelly, so if they were like together, that'd be great. Yeah, I guess it would be those three. How was your Thanksgiving? I ordered pizza and wings and was by myself all day. Do you see yourself staying in Miami long term? Lots of Miami questions. I think we already know the answer to that, and unlikely. Do you prefer nice pickup lines or crazy toxic ones? I don't really know what you mean by that. Crazy toxic ones. What's your favorite high chew flavor? This person probably remembered that I posted that I was obsessed with these a few months ago. My favorite flavor is strawberry. Those are so good. Would you rather be able to bench 315 or squat 500? Squat 500 by far. If I was benching 315, I think everyone would be like scared of me. I'd be like the fucking Hulk. How many days a week do you hit the gym? Typically 6. What's your ultimate goal in life using one word? Easy. Fulfilled. I want to be fulfilled in everything. Fulfilled in my career, fulfilled in love, in my finances, my happiness, my achievements. Like, I would love to just look back at my life and feel so fulfilled with the way that I lived it. Your fave fitness advice or related quote you've come across. This one's pretty easy too. I feel like I have a couple quotes that always come to mind. One is, you're so much stronger than you think you are. Honestly, I think I might have made that up. I don't know, but I've said it for like a year or like 2 years because I personally experienced that. I would think, oh, I can't do that weight. And I'm like, well, let me just try. Throw on a 5, throw on a 2.5. Sure enough, I can do it. Hand in hand with that, another quote that I love, your mind gives up before your body does. And I love that because I'll be in my head and I'll be like, this is the last rep I can do. And then I'll just kind of tone myself out and just kind of keep going, and I always can rep out a few more reps usually when I'm doing that. Those are like my 2 favorite things, is you're stronger than you think you are and your mind gives up before your body does. Alright guys, those were honestly the interesting ones. I know this video is like very different than all of my other videos that I've done. If you've watched this to the end, I'm shocked. I can't believe someone cares about my life that much. That's so nice. Make sure you hit that like button if you watch till the end, and hit that subscribe button as well. As always, if you haven't already, I'll make sure my next video is a fun one for you guys. That is all that I've got for you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week, amazing rest of the weekend. Make sure you follow all the rest of my socials. They are going to be on the next slide, and I will see you guys next Wednesday.